Senator Manchin now saying he won't support certain parts of the president's agenda, leaving Democrats in a precarious position ahead of the midterms. Elon Moy has the latest for us. Elon?
Well, Kelly, the inflation numbers spooked Senator Manchin. Today, he called the 9.1% spike an alarming figure. And after it came out, he said he told Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer it's not prudent to move ahead with a $1 trillion tax and spending bill. Now, what he is willing to support right now, allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices and extending.
We have good news. There are millions of people who may see a big expansion to the tax credits, and this could mean financial relief in the form of monthly stimulus, because 2,000 payments are being made to eligible Americans. You might want to file a tax return quick. If you're not required to, then you might not get the stimulus check sooner than you like. Because the tax season is upon us, and for some, it may be your first time filing. And even for those who have filed for years, taxes are just not the easiest tax to tackle. From deductions to credits, everybody, tax terminology can be confusing. And according to experts, a tax credit is a dollar for dollar amount of money that taxpayers subtract directly from the income that they owe you. These are different from the different types of tax credits, including the non-refundable and refundable. Both the federal and state governments give tax credits to people on the child tax credit or the lifetime learning credit, just to do in order to sustain and benefit the economy. A federal tax credit is granted by the federal government, and the New York lawmakers just want to make expanded tax credits to families as well. It's a key provision in the state that comes after the expiration of a federal expansion last year. The proposal was backed by some senators, and now it's meant to give increased support to families with kids younger than 18. The measure would create a larger credit delivered for 3 months, and even a senator said for millions of families across New York, having to make near impossible financial choices, like choosing to put food on the table or paying a utility bill, can be a real reality. Lawmakers pointed to the pledge of the New York governor to reduce child poverty by over the next decade, cutting it in half and fixing things up in New York City. Because now the lawmakers are pledging this stimulus bill to the people. The maximum credit can be up to $1,500 and provide up to $500 per child, regardless of your income. A cap on the number of children eligible to receive the credit would end as well. And the lawmakers and advocates pointed to a study that focused on the since lapse expansion of the federal child tax credit, which lifted 3 million people out of poverty and 120,000 children in New York. Plus, this earned income tax credit put an average of $2,000 back in recipients' hands and helped the millions of people above the poverty line last year. And now, according to the IRS, 30 million people applied and received this credit, but a fifth of taxpayers who are eligible are not going to get the money that they want to see. And this is the earned income tax credit's problem. You can receive as much as $7,000 in tax credits depending on your status. It's for this reason that the credit is one of the most popular tax credits in America, even if one of the least is understood. If you're filing taxes as a single filer without kids, you must have made around $16,000 to claim this. And the maximum earned income credit for taxpayers with no dependents is $560, and it can be claimed by eligible workers as well. Married but separate spouses who don't only file a joint return may qualify to claim the credit, and if they meet certain requirements, you can get that money fast. And while the IRS began accepting returns on January 23rd, it can't issue a refund that includes the earned income tax credit. This is due to the 2015 PATH Act law. What this means is that people won't be getting stimulus. Guys, it is finally here. We have some breaking news. The Social Security Administration has just unveiled the new cost of living adjustment for Americans. And if you want to know more information about Social Security or the stimulus checks and when you should expect to receive them, then continue watching this video, because the whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most up-to-date, reliable stimulus check information. I always do my very best to provide you guys with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. So be sure to continue watching this video to stay up to date on the most important stimulus news. So the Social Security Administration has actually released and announced an annual cost of living adjustment of 8.7% amid a rising inflation rate, everybody, that has been punishing for Americans on fixed income. Now, the adjustment represents the largest one-time increase since 1981 and the largest increase ever experienced by beneficiaries alive today. The increase took effect this year was 5.9%, and the increase will begin with benefits payable to more than 65 million Social Security beneficiaries in January. The increased payments to more than 70 million supplemental security income beneficiaries is now set to begin December 30th. Now, thanks to unusual benefits, Social Security beneficiaries can expect to realize the full cost of living adjustment increase. In previous years, The annual adjustment was eaten up by increases in the cost of Medicare Part B, the unit of Medicare that pays for doctors and hospital outpatient services. The Social Security Administration Commissioner has said that Medicare premiums are going down and Social Security benefits are going up, which will give seniors more peace of mind and breathing room. This year's substantial Social Security cost of living adjustment is the first time in over a decade that Medicare premiums are not rising, and shows that we can provide more support to older Americans who count on the benefits that they have earned. And everybody, the annual adjustment is calculated by averaging inflation readings among urban wage earners and clerical workers folks from July, August, and September. And so now, annual inflation readings in those months came in at approximately 8.5% to 8.2%. Despite the expected increase, the methodology the IRS uses to calculate the annual adjustment for Social Security can actually still leave most people financially vulnerable. And according to Mary Johnson, the policy analyst and editor at the Senior Citizens League, that's because the strategy puts way too much emphasis on gas and transportation costs. Those are items that retirees spend less money on compared with food, healthcare, and housing. So now Mary Johnson has estimated that the average retiree benefit of around $1,656 per month is short, about $43 per month on average, and by a total of $417 year to date. And given recent inflation data for 2022, the year-on-year inflation rate among urban wage earners and clerical workers has averaged 9%. The Minnesota governor is also pushing lawmakers to pass huge rebate checks instead of a gas tax holiday, as inflation surges to levels not seen in 40 years. Governor Walz's proposal calls for direct payments of $500 to adults who make less than $164,000 a year, and $1,000 per couple. He has tripled the size of the checks since he first proposed them in January, and his administration now estimates the cost at $2 billion. The checks are part of Walz's updated spending plan. Politicians across the country are grappling with inflation, especially highly visible gas prices, with this fall's midterm elections looming. Walz said in a direct payment that would be more effective than waiving the state's 28-cent per gallon tax over the summer, as House Democrats have proposed that. Now, Walz also told reporters it's quite a few pull-ups that you can get $1,000 from me. I think this money is in the hands of folks who will make a good difference and is fiscally responsible. Under a gas tax holiday, relief would be much lower than with a one-time payment. Republicans who control the Minnesota Senate call a gas tax holiday a gimmick. With the 2022 session nearing its midpoint, lawmakers in the state have stalled on proposals to spend $1 billion with a combined budget surplus and federal crisis relief money. Republican and Democratic lawmakers have dealt with split-party control in the legislature since 2019. In recent days, Democrats have accused Senate Republicans of not wanting deals in hopes of improving their hand in the fall's midterms.
In addition to taking action